Hi friends, welcome to our Canadian journey. This video will help you to set you on the right path to integrate into Canadian life. Less confusion and realistic expectations when moving to Canada will increase your chances of achieving success. Before that, I wish to tell you some real facts and figures about Canada. It's better to know this before you migrate. Did you know Canada is the second largest country in the world at 10 million square kilometers? It is only surpassed by Russia in terms of its land size. Canada's border with USA is the world's longest land border with hundreds and thousands of crossings each day. Majority of its population lives within 300 kilometers of the international boundary. Canada touches three oceans: the Pacific Ocean to the west, Atlantic Ocean to the east, and the Arctic Ocean to the north. It contains 10 provinces and 3 territories. The main difference between these territories and provinces is that provinces take power from Constitution Act of 1867, but territories take power from the federal government. There are 10 provinces in Canada. They are Ontario, Quebec, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Manitoba, British Columbia, Prince Edward Island, Saskatchewan, Alberta, Newfoundland, and Labrador. The biggest province of Canada is Ontario. Most popular and capital city Toronto and Canada's capital Ottawa locates here. Let us talk about the 10 things that you need to know before you come to Canada. The first one is weather. Unless you are living in the southern Ontario, you are almost certain to experience cold, snowy winters and hot summers with short transitional seasons. If you come from a mild or warm climate, the bitter cold of a Canadian winter is sure to surprise you. It's difficult to describe how cold is minus 25 degrees Celsius can feel, but you don't need to fear about it. The good news is that you can come prepared with the right clothing and attitude. The next one is diversity. Generations of immigrants have received a warm welcome to Canada. Multiculturalism is a part of Canada. Over 40 sitting members of parliament were born abroad. In any major city as well as many rural communities, for that matter, you will see a different type of languages, religions, and cultures. You don't need to go for your culture or values after moving to Canada, but you do need to evolve so that you can successfully adjust and have the greater chance of achieving success. Keeping an open mind will benefit you. The third one is tipping. You may come from a country where workers in the service and hospitality sectors earn a guaranteed livable wage with additional benefits, and therefore tipping may not be a part of your culture. That's great, but Canada is different, and tipping is a basic when in Rome, do as the Romans do situation. Bar attendants and servers generally earn a minimum wage, which depending on the province. Indeed, some provinces have a lower minimum wage with an expectation that they will earn tips to compensate, and staff usually have to tip out other staff with a portion of their sales. This might seem strange and you may disagree, but by not tipping, the server is effectively paying out of their own pocket to serve you. So, unless the service is poor, please tip. The standard tip is 15% of the total bill or $1 per drink. The next one is job hunt. Researching, looking for, and applying for jobs in Canada can be a lengthy process, perhaps much longer than that what you are used to, as you establish connections in your new home. Months can pass before you land a professional position, so you should plan accordingly to ensure your welcome to Canada goes smoothly. This means bring enough funds to tide you through your first few months. Be prepared to take a non-career job in short term, but always be on the lookout for your next career move. Begin to think and act as a Canadian before you even set foot in Canada. This means adapting to the resume format in Canada, networking, and being proactive. The next one is cost of living. Avoid a harsh welcome to Canada by knowing the basic cost of living in your adopted city before you move. If you move and are surprised by how expensive the rent or transportation is, that's not the city's fault, it's yours. Research is crucial. Toronto and Vancouver, particularly the downtown areas, are really expensive. But in Montreal, it has lower property values and lower rent, but also lower salaries. Next one is smoking. It is illegal to smoke in public places such as restaurants, stores, offices, hospitals, and other places of employment. This also includes public or shared areas of apartment buildings and rental complexes. If you smoke, the only places you can do so is your own living space, your vehicle, unless you have a minor with you, and in great outdoors. Next one is healthcare. The healthcare system is one of the pillars on which the warm welcome to Canada received by newcomers is built. It is delivered through a publicly funded system which is mostly free at the point of use and has more services provided by private entities. Healthcare, though paid for using some federal funds, is administered by the provinces. A health card is issued by the Provincial Ministry of Health to each individual who enrolls for the program, and everyone receives the same level of care. Permanent residents can receive provincial cover, but in some provinces will have to wait a few months for their provincial coverage to begin. Private comprehensive health insurance policies are also available during that period. In case of temporary residents and visitors, they will require a private policy throughout their stay. The next one is driving license. Many of the tests or examinations you have completed in your home country may not be valid in Canada, or it requires paperwork in order to be converted. Driving licenses are a minefield for two reasons. Firstly, licenses are awarded by the provinces, not the federal government, and individual provinces have their own rules and testing procedures. Secondly, different countries around the world have particular agreements with the provinces. So, there are different rules for getting driving license in Canada. Depending on which country you are from, you may be able to simply exchange your foreign license for a driving license in Canada without the need to sit any road test. However, many newcomers to Canada need to sit a theory test and road test before they can obtain a Canadian driving license, even if they already have several years of driving experience outside Canada. The next one is taxation. Under Canada's decentralized federal system, Taxes are levied at multiple levels. Income taxes are collected by both federal and provincial governments. Depending on your status and terms of employment, you may be entitled to a tax refund at the end of every fiscal year. The last one is the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. When moving to Canada, it is important to know what rights you have on arrival and throughout your stay. The Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms guarantees certain political rights to Canadian citizens and civil rights to everyone in the country from the policies and actions of all areas and levels of government. In doing so, the Charter forms the bedrock of Canadian political, civil, and social society and outlines the kind of welcome to Canada newcomers can expect. I hope this will help you to choose the right career and program for your future career. Please like the video if you like it, share it with your friends and subscribe to the channel. Have a good time guys. Bye bye.